ESPN, just the other day, laid off about 20 members of its on-air talent. I titled this "Change Happened, More to Come," because, as you all know, I work at ESPN. My day job is First Take. NBA Countdown to NBA Stephen A's World, all of that stuff, but mainly First Take. And there are a lot of people who got laid off. Friends of mine, actually. Definitely respected colleagues who've done a phenomenal job and deserved better. But it's not Disney or ESPN that they deserved better from. They deserved better from than the times we're living in. A lot of people don't want to see that, and they don't want to appreciate that. But those are people rife with emotion, some justifiably, obviously, but are not paying enough attention to the dollars. Right here on this podcast, when Disney announced that 7,000 layoffs were coming, everybody associated with ESPN knew this day would arrive. Folks as individuals were hoping it just wasn't them. To see Jalen Rose gone, my brother, done an outstanding job for us covering the NBA for years. Got a lot of love for that brother. A lot of the great work he's done over the years, what he's represented for the company. I'm going to miss him. Jalen Rose has always been good to me. And I loved working with him on NBA Countdown. He is a brilliant, brilliant basketball mind. He is somebody that worked his ass off all the time. There was never an assignment he backed away from. There was never a time he didn't want to work. And my heart goes out to him for being one of these cuts after his exceptional run at ESPN. Jeff Van Gundy's another. You don't get labeled as a part of the A-team unless you're an A-teamer. That was Jeff Van Gundy, former head coach of the New York Knicks, former head coach of the Houston Rockets, outstanding, brilliant basketball analyst for ESPN for years. I could say I'm going to miss him, but I just can't imagine he's going to be out of work for long. I'm sure I'll see him on the air doing his thing. Him and Mark Jackson with Mike Breen, without question, the A-team. Guys that I was proud to call colleagues and still am and always will be. Mike Breen, a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever do what he's done as a play-by-play guy. As far as I'm concerned, Jeff Van Gundy's been a Hall of Fame analyst and commentator. I believe Mark Jackson to be the same. But we're going to have to sit up here, along with very many others. Okay, Neil Everett from SportsCenter, Ashley Brewer from SportsCenter, you know, my brother Keyshawn Johnson, my brother. Now, I know him on a far more personal level than I know many others. We've been friends for over 20 years. I'm sad to see him go. I think he'll be fine. Keyshawn Johnson is a businessman extraordinaire. He knows how to make money, knows how to get money, and he is not fazed. He is fine. I spoke to him over the weekend. He's fine. But I personally am going to miss him because of his contribution to First Take, what he has done for me, what he's done for my life, just being a big brother and a friend of me. I love him to death. And I know he's going to be fine. There's various others, and I don't want to mention everybody because I don't want to forget anybody's name. But those names certainly come to mind. I'm even going to mention Max Kellerman. I know y'all thought I wouldn't. I am not happy that he is gone. We all know what history we had. We all know what happened with he and I parting ways on First Take. I don't want the brother unemployed. I want him gainfully employed. I want him having a job and a career. And that brother knows his boxing inside as out, and smart as a whip, and has been around a long time. I wish him no ill will. And a matter of fact, although I sincerely doubt he ever will, if he ever called me needing my help, I would not hesitate to help him. Just because I don't want to work with you directly in a debate show doesn't mean I didn't want to work with you. Doesn't mean I couldn't have worked with him covering a boxing match. Doesn't mean I couldn't have worked with him covering a UFC match. Doesn't mean I could have worked with him doing Sports Center, a Sports Center segment, or somebody else. I'm just talking about a 2-hour debate show. I wanted a different partner. That's all. I wish the brother nothing but the best. But if we're going to be real about it, let's deal with reality. This ain't the end. More is coming. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I could be next. Let me tell y'all something. Don't ever, ever, ever in your life, as a black person, take anything for granted. I told you before, when white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia. The Neil Everett's are gone. The Jeff Van Gundy's are gone. David Pollock, outstanding college football analyst. Love him. He was one of the casualties. Todd McShay, college football analyst extraordinaire, especially for the NFL draft. He's part of the casualties. Love him. You didn't think black folks was going to be on the list too? That's always the case. And the one thing that I can tell you about Stephen A., this ain't 2009. I really didn't see it coming. My eyes are always wide open now. I'm never comfortable. I never take anything for granted, and I never assume that I'm safe. And First Take's number one, and been number one for 11 and a half plus years.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stephen A. Smith's reaction of his colleagues being laid off. You heard a name from Jalen Rose, Keyshawn Johnson, Jeff Van Gundy, even Max Kellerman, even though he's the reason why Max Kellerman has been gone from First Take in the first place. There's Susie Colbert. He didn't say her name. She's also gone from the, layoffs. These are well-known ESPN analysts that's been working there for years and years and years, are now been gone by ESPN. But just like I said on my podcast, and I want you guys to check out my podcast. It's on Spotify called Roar on Your Podcast with Lions Den. And I told y'all on my podcast, I said they got rid of everybody else except one person they should have got rid of, but she still stayed. And that is Malika Andrews. Malika Andrews should have been the first person in that list to be gone. But she still stayed. And then I'll talk about, Sage Steele. Sage Steele, who's also at ESPN. The only reason why they didn't get rid of her was because she's still involved in a lawsuit with ESPN dealing with not taking a jab or not taking a vaccine. But the lawsuit's still going on, so we don't know how long that's going to turn out. But Stephen A., you was talking about Max Kellerman. We all know you're the reason why Max Kellerman has been removed from First Take. You even said it on your podcast just now. But guess what's going to happen now? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been a sports fan. You know me. And like I said on my podcast, I've been a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan for 24 years. I've been a New York Yankees fan for 20 years. And I've been a Brooklyn Nets fan for 15 years. Still going strong. But ESPN and Walt Disney has disappointed me as a sports fan. Because now you got one of the best colleagues in the game that's been in ESPN for years. Even, and I forgot to mention Todd McShay as well. Todd McShay, who's been an NFL draft analyst, one of the best in the business, also got let go, also got laid off. But then everybody, even black male fan base, going to ask, why did Malika Andrews is not one on that list? She's very problematic. But you know what? The thing with Malika Andrews is that she criticized black male athletes and attack them on that network, being misandrous. But you know what? That's them. But here's what's going to happen now. All the black male, fan base that watch ESPN probably every day or probably every weekend when it comes to the NFL draft, the NBA draft, they're not going to watch ESPN anymore. See, ESPN, it's going to backfire on ESPN and on Walt Disney because all the black viewerships are going to be gone, which means the ratings is going to be gone because us black male viewership, we watch ESPN more than anybody else on that channel. When I saw this list, ladies and gentlemen, Jalen Rose, I still don't understand why they got rid of him. I see the list like Jeff Van Gundy, Keyshawn Johnson. I see Susie Colbert. Susie Colbert, she's been in the ESPN for years, and they let her go. Stephen A. didn't talk about her though. Well, I guess he forgot. I don't know. And then you talking about Max Kellerman, Jeff Van Gundy, who he said he's been a Knicks head coach, been a Rockets head coach, been an ESPN NBA analyst also for years. They let everybody in that network go, and he said there's more to come. Now, I hope that Malika Andrews is on that list. I really hope so. Because, again, if she wasn't, don't be surprised a lot of black male sports fan base who always watch ESPN will lose. They will not even watch it no more, and the ratings of ESPN will go down. So it's crazy how this situation happened. It is. And don't be, like I said, a lot of black male sports, watchers, they're gonna go to their podcast now. They may go to Fox Sports, they may go to TYT Sports or Yahoo Sports. They might go to other sports networks. But ESPN, they're done. And if they try to find NFL news, they're not going to ESPN as well. They may go to the NFL Network. I tell you what's going to happen. All these sports, especially black male sports fan base, they're not going to watch ESPN anymore. They're done. And I'm going to tell you straight up, like I said on my podcast, all that viewership, they're not watching it. All the ratings at ESPN is going to go down. And it should be, and there might be some more changes in the front office because of this. So they think they can escape them not being laid off. I'm talking about the front office, the managers. They'll probably be next. So this is crazy. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments. I'll talk to you in the next video. This Lions Den signing off. Deuces.